What's up, guys? Welcome to the Primetime Podcast. This episode, first of all, before we get started on today's topic, I want to say a few things about the final months that we're here, that we're in here in 2019. They happen to be my favorite, and September is my birthday month, so of course I love September. Then into October, if you follow me on Primetime 21st Gaming, you know that I love horror games, and horror movies are my favorite genre. And October, of course, being the month of Halloween, it just gives me more of an excuse to watch. It gives me an excuse to watch more horror movies and play more horror games. So, of course, I love October. And then into November, we've got Thanksgiving. It's a good time to spend with family and friends and enjoy some good food. And Christmas ties in with that. Some more time, to spend with family, friends, and more good food. And, of course, getting each other gifts. It's a good time. And, those people who in, like, let's say November, they're like, I don't want to see anything Christmas until after Thanksgiving. Okay, well, first of all, you have to understand that these stores are being smart. They're putting the stuff out in advance so they can sell more of it. Okay, like, if you go to Lowe's right now, I guarantee you're going to see an entire aisle of Halloween stuff, and then when you go down the aisle and into the next, it's going to look like night and day, because you're going to see Christmas stuff or Thanksgiving stuff, because they put that stuff out there for months in advance for people to sell. If they put it out there, 4 weeks before Christmas, sure, they're going to sell stuff, but if you put it out there and there's people like me who wants to, get ahead on Christmas and stuff like that, they'll sell more of it. But that's one thing. But also, Thanksgiving and Christmas go hand in hand with me. So, come on. The Macy's Day Parade ends every year with what? Santa Claus coming in. So, I don't know. It just goes hand in hand with me. There's some salty people who get mad about that. It's not a big deal. But nobody's forgetting about Thanksgiving. Trust me. But I love, Christmas is my favorite holiday, and I love the music. The music is timeless, but, we'll get into that in December. We will talk about Christmas, maybe Christmas games or Christmas moments and stuff like that. But as for right now, we're going to talk about Friday the 13th, the video game. And one more thing before I do. The Primetime Podcast right now is available on 6 different platforms, and that is the most platforms that this podcast has been available on since I started it. And I want to thank everybody who has listened to this show, shared the show, reached out to me and gave me some topics or whatever it may be. If you're taking the time to sit down and listen to the show, it's just a guy who loves video games and is talking about them. And I appreciate you, and I thank you for that. So the platforms that you can get the Primetime Podcast on, of course, is YouTube, my YouTube channel, Primetime 21st Gaming, Anchor.fm, you can check it out on there, Google Podcast, Spotify, Breaker, and Radio Public. So if you have to, YouTube, I know a lot of my people listen to the Primetime Podcast through my YouTube channel, but you're going to get it first through Anchor.fm, Google Podcast, Spotify, Breaker, Radio Public. YouTube is usually the last spot that it goes. So if you want to hear it sooner, check out one of those platforms. You can go to one of my social medias, mostly Twitter. You can find the links for the Primetime Podcast through all of those. The links will be there for any of those platforms. Download the apps or whatever you got to do, but I do thank you for supporting the Primetime Podcast. So, today's topic, Friday the 13th, the video game. Now, I'm not talking about the NES game. I'm talking about the most recent video game, developed by IllFonic and published by Gun Media. It was released May 26th, 2017, digitally. The physical copy was delayed until October 13th, 2017, which happened to be a Friday the 13th that year. So a Friday the 13th in the month of October, that's pretty cool. Seems kind of rare, too. But I pre-ordered this game as soon as it took on the name Friday the 13th, because this game was being developed as kind of like a knockoff of Friday the 13th before they had the rights. and it was called Summer Camp. And I remember seeing it then, and I checked it out, and I heard rumor that they were trying to get, rights to actually use the Friday the 13th franchise and the characters and stuff like that. And once they did, I was on board instantly. I pre-ordered a physical copy, and I was I was a little upset when I heard the physical copy was going to be delayed, because here I'm thinking the game's coming out May 26th, and I'm not going to get to play it. So I was kind of right, but they were kind enough to still send me a digital code, so I'd be able to play it until they got out my physical copy to me. They did that for everybody, and that was very nice of them. However, there was a horrific launch day experience, and let me explain the rules of the game first before we get into the horrific launch day. So basically what it is, when the game first came out, multiplayer only, okay? You would get into a lobby, one person is randomly Jason, and everybody else are counselors. And you have multiple counselors to choose from. Some are locked, at the start, until you start leveling up, and in certain levels you unlock characters. We'll get into that also, and certain Jasons too. But, so anyways, you go into the game, and the rules of the game are, if you're a counselor, you have to find a way to escape. Each round is 20 minutes long. So you can either escape by calling the cops. What you have to do there is you have to find the phone fuse. Once you find the fuse, you have to find the house with the phone, install the fuse outside, get inside, call the cops, and wait about 5 minutes or however long before the police show up. No longer than 5 minutes. Then you can also escape by car. Now, usually you either have a car and a boat or a car and a car. And there's either a 4-seater or a 2-seater. And the boat is also a 2-seater. So, let's say for the car, for example, you're going to need keys, obviously. You're going to have to install the battery, and you're going to have to put gas in the car. You do all that, and you're able to escape. Now, the boat, you need to find the propeller and a gas can, and you're on your way out. Those are the 3 ways to escape, other than running the clock out and surviving the night. That could be a little bit more challenging, especially if you've got a good Jason. But honestly, I think those ones are the most exciting, and to just try to survive the time limit. Now, if you happen to be one of the unlucky ones and die either first or second, you have a good opportunity to come in as Tommy Jarvis. That is, if one of the other counselors called him in on the radio. And that's good and all. Jarvis is the fastest character in the game, and he also comes in with a gun, and he has a pocket knife. Now, pocket knives can be used if Jason grabs you. It's a automatic escape. And, of course, the gun will stun Jason for just a small amount of time to kind of get him off of you, and you can create some distance between you and Jason. Now, let's, other than that, those are the basics as the counselor. Now, if you're playing as Jason, you've got one goal. Don't let anybody escape. Kill everybody. And there's a lot to do. You could do environmental kills. You can do, special kills with whatever weapon Jason has, and just awesome, this game is awesome. I'll tell you that from the start. I love this game. I play a lot of this game. I have so many hours in this game. I am max level. That was a big goal for me, for this game, and I enjoy this game, and it's a blast. So, but if you are Jason and somebody is putting gas in the car or the battery and they screw up on the quick time events kind of thing, it lets Jason know. Say they mess up on installing the battery, it'll make like an electrical short sound. So you're like, okay, I got to get over to the car. Somebody's messing with the car. Or if they're trying to put the fuse in the phone box, it'll notify Jason if they screw up by like a dial tone sound or whatever. So very fun to play either Jason or the counselor. I think I prefer playing as the counselor because I like to get scared. I know that may sound kind of crazy, but you know, I'm so used to the game though, it doesn't scare me really. Not as many jump scares unless you get a really good Jason. And Jason has 4 different abilities. He's got the stock ability, which allows him to kind of like, he's sneaky. He's able to be stealthy. So he can hide outside the cabin and you can't hear his music, you know, because his music gets intense when he's around, letting you know Jason's here. But if he has stock on, you don't hear that music, and you might go out that window that he's sitting right outside. Boom, he grabs you. Your game is finished. But there's that. He's got shift, which allows him to kind of like zoom and speed up and catch you if you're running. He also has like a sense ability that allows him to, if you're in the area and you're running or whatever, it'll light up your character red in the distance, allowing him to know what cabin you're in or how far away you are. And his final one is like he can teleport, so it'll bring up the map of whatever camp it may be, whether it's the Packanack camp or Higgins Haven, Crystal Lake, and he can move from one side of the map to the other. Now these abilities, they take some time to regenerate after he uses them. Depending on the Jason, I know some are faster. And I don't know it down to the T which ones, you know, because I only use a few Jasons that I like. And there are some that are terrible in the game. And I'll talk about that probably towards the end. Okay, that's the basics of the game. Now, the horrific launch day. Super excited to play this game. Unfortunately, for the first 2 days, I couldn't. And I wasn't the only one, because there were a lot of people who did not get into games. They were bashing this game, you know, and they were bashing gun media and just, it wasn't good at all. I couldn't get into a single game. I would go to the load. It would start me at the screen where it's looking for a match, and it would just load and load and load. I think at one point I left my PlayStation on, because that's what I got it on originally. And it would just sit there and load, and I would leave it, and I would get on the computer, and it would just, for at least, no lie, close to an hour before I would cancel out and just try to find another one. But I never could. And, you know, so many people were just trying to play that the servers just weren't having it. And once I did finally get into a game, it was full of bugs. And counselors could kill other counselors. They would do, like, you know, team kill. They could beat you to death with a baseball bat or hit you with a car. And if you were Jason and caught someone who happened to be the party leader and they got all upset because their game's about to end because you're about to kill them as Jason and they quit, it would end the game for everybody. Now, they would eventually fix these things, like add dedicated servers. It'd take a while for that, but they'd also take out like team kill, so you couldn't kill other counselors unless you hit them with a car. That's a little different. But yeah, I mean, they have made some very good improvements to this game, made it more playable, because when it first came out, those little things just, it didn't give you a good, I don't know, it didn't give you a good experience playing the game, you know. It's, like I said, if you're Jason and the party leader gets killed and they're mad and they want to get into another game, they quit, game ends for everybody. That's terrible. But anyways, as an apology for the terrible launch, everyone got the first DLC for free, which was Retro Jason, also known as NES Jason, also known as Purple Jason, which was basically just Part 3 Jason, just with a different skin to him, turning him purple and blue. And, I mean, a cool touch. I mean, hey, it was free, you know, who's going to complain about that? They did that, you know, it was nice. So, the original max level used to be 100 before they upped it to 150. The higher you level, the more you work towards unlocking different counselors and Jasons, as I mentioned earlier. For example, like Jason Part 2 with the potato sack head. He can be unlocked at level 13, and at level 24 you can unlock Mitch, the hippie counselor. Alright, let's start talking about the counselors and the different Jasons in the game. So let's begin with Ajay Mason. She is a counselor in this game. She's like the rocker chick. She's available at level 4. I don't know, I haven't used her a whole lot. Honestly, I'll tell you the two that I use most, and one of them is actually next, and that's Adam. Adam's like the leather jacket wearing cool dude, and he's available at level 14. His composure is high, his strength is high, his repair is average, but his stealth sucks, and I mean, he's okay. He's the guy that I like to use if I'm going to play as a guy. Then there's Brandon Bugsy Wilson, the jock, available at level 8. Super fast. He's the athlete, you know. We got a guy athlete and a girl athlete. We'll get to them we'll get to her in a minute. Chad, the preppy guy, pretty boy, available from the start. He's very fast. He's got some good luck, but his repair is kind of sucky. But here's the girl that I use, Deborah Kim. She's the smart girl, the book smart girl, and she's available at level 6. And she has high repair. Honestly, some of the highest repair stats in the game. And I use her often. Actually, I use her most of the time. And like I said, I'll switch between her and Adam. But her speed sucks, her stamina sucks, and you know, you gotta work with it. You know, try to make it work for you. But I would definitely rather have like her repair being the best, where you only have so many quick time events to hit. Let's say, you know, for someone like Chad or Tiffany, which we'll get to Tiffany in a moment. But up next we've got Lacava. He's the nerd. Level 10 is when you can unlock him. He's got high repair, but his stamina and speed sucks as well. Fox was later added. She's the biker chick. Unlock her at level 32. She's very average. Just a very average, you know, counselor. She's got like high strength and strength. When I'm saying strength, I mean like, if Jason were to grab you, you can break away from him pretty quick by tapping whatever. But let's say Xbox, you're tapping the A button to break away from him. Someone like Deborah, who I use, whose strength is not very good. I don't know. It takes forever. Jason's probably going to kill you. But anyway, Jenny Myers. I have not used Jenny a whole lot, and so I don't know much about her. But she's also available from the start. Kenny, he's available from the start, and he is probably the best person to start with in the game if you're going to use him or looking for a counselor to begin with. I'd start with Kenny. He's available from the start. He is 5 out of 10 on all stats, so he's a good one to start with. I used him, honestly, until I got Deborah unlocked, and then it was just me and Deborah from then on out. Mitch, he's the stoner, unlocked at level 24. High repair, high composure, of course, but his speed is terrible, and his strength is terrible. You got Shelly, he's the prankster. You'll if you play any of the single-player challenges, which we'll talk about here soon, you'll see why he's the prankster. He's also available from the start. Tiffany Cox, she is the flirty girl. She's the gorgeous, you know, the girl that everyone's trying to get. And she may have the looks, but she's about as smart as a box of rocks. That's right. She's not very smart at all. So anyway, you can get her at level 18. If you use her, like if you try to put in a car battery or even pour the gas in the car with her, the quick time events, there's a ton of them. Good luck trying to hit them all without notifying Jason. Best thing I can say for her, hope somebody calls the cops, or hope that you find the car keys and can drive the car out, because that's about the only way you're gonna escape. Vanessa Jones, she's the athletic girl, and she's available from the start. Nice speed, very high stamina, but her repair is pretty low. Victoria Sterling, I don't know much about her. I haven't played as her, very much. Honestly, maybe once or twice I've used her. But she's like the rich girl. She's available at level 42. And then there's Tommy Jarvis. Now, Tommy Jarvis is not available to be chosen at the start of the round. You have to, if you get killed first or second, just hope that you are picked as him. And his stats are perfect. He's 10 out of 10 on everything. So Jarvis is the big guy, the pain in the butt for Jason. So let's move into the Jasons. We've got Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part 6, Part 7, Part 8, and Part 9. We're not going to really talk about Savini Jason, because, he was only for certain people, the ones who backed the game early. I'm talking about the Jasons that you can have at your fingertips in this game. So, Part 2 Jason, he unlocks at level 13. He can run. He starts with 7 traps. He's got a faster cooldown on the morph ability. But, I mean, his water speed is very slow. Honestly, I think Part 2 Jason is very bad. You can find people that can use him very well, but I like the look of him and stuff, but man, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, 7 traps. What in the world do you need freaking 7 traps for? I use traps, but not that often. But yeah, that's about the only thing he's got going for him is his 7 traps. Part 3 Jason. This Jason is available from the start, and if you bought the game when it was brand new, when it first came out, this was the Jason they started you with. He can run. He can't break down doors for nothing. I mean he can, but it takes so long, and it's really the reason I stay away from Part 3 Jason, because I love retro Jason, NES Jason, but it's why I stay away from him, because by the time you break a door down, the counselor's out the window and in the next cabin, and that door's locked. So you're wasting so much time, but that's why I kind of stay away from Part 3 Jason. Part 4 Jason was added later. He unlocks at level 44. I love this Jason. I prefer this Jason over all of them. He can run. He breaks down doors faster and walls and all that. And he's also got some pretty cool kills with the pig splitter. So I definitely recommend him. The only thing that's kind of keeping you away from maybe choosing him is his slower water speed. And the cooldown for using the shift ability is longer, and the movement is slower. When you're trying to shift, if you see a counselor running in the distance, you're not going to get there as fast. And he only has 3 traps, but, whatever. It works perfect for me, but I definitely recommend getting to level 44 and getting him, because he's a very good Jason in my opinion. Part 5, Jason, or Roy. If you watch Friday the 13th Part 5, you know what I mean. But he was later added, so he's also available at the start. So if you go out and buy the game tomorrow, Part 3 Jason and Part 5 Roy will be available. I honestly prefer using Part 5 over Part 3. I don't know. I think he's just a better Jason, or better all around when it comes to being a starter Jason, or Roy, whatever. You get what I mean. Part 6 Jason, he unlocks at level 3. Has 6 throwing knives. His synths last longer once activated, so that's nice. That is very nice. I've heard other people say, I don't use him much, but I've heard other people say once you unlock weapon swap, get rid of his weapon and give him something else, and he's a very, it's very easier. It's easier to use this Jason once you get rid of his, I don't know what the heck that thing is. It's like a pole or something. But yeah, if you can get, once you get weapon swap, maybe try using him. He can't run though, and I like a Jason that runs. Let's see, part 7. He unlocks at level 7, and I think he's the coolest looking Jason. However, he can't run. He has a higher chance to be stunned, and he only has 3 traps. But he's super fast in the water, and his sensibility lasts long when activated. Part 8. If I'm going to use a Jason that doesn't run, this is the one I'm using. He looks awesome. He's unlocked at level 20, and like I said, he doesn't run, but he does break down, doors fast, and I can work with that. Part 9. Jason Goes to Hell. He unlocks at level 31. I haven't used him much. I don't really see many people using him much. I know he can't run. He starts with 3 traps. He's got a faster cooldown and speed on the shift ability. Stalk ability lasts longer once activated, and it takes a while to stun him. So he's not a bad Jason. I don't know if maybe just people, they don't know how to use him, because each Jason, honestly, you have to try to figure out your strategy to use him. You have to figure out what you're lacking. Let's say, like, maybe you have a Jason that doesn't run, but he's got a good shift ability. Really, you just got to figure out a strategy for each Jason. Okay, I don't have this, but I have this. But anyway, and then, NES Jason is a skin of part 3, and that's available from the start. And also, you get blue coveralls with Roy, of a skin of part 5, and that's available from the start. Okay, let's talk about single-player challenges. So there's 10 different challenges here. I thought this was a great addition to the game. Very fun, and it can get very challenging once you start moving along. But we'll name them here real quick. The first single-player challenge is called Broken Down. The second one is Power Struggle. Third one, Lights Out. Fourth one, Stargazing. Fifth one, Pack-a-Knack Party. Sixth one, Snuggle by the Fire. 7, Strip Poker. 8, Escaping. 9, Jason is Here. And 10, Vacation Party. Now, you got different objectives for each one of these. There's like a list of things to do. And let's say, like in Broken Down, one of your objectives is to kill Bugsy on a smoke break. So different things like that. And you have 3 different skulls. You want to try to get all 3, but I think you only have to get 2 to advance to the next challenge. So I think there's like an XP skull. There's a skull for no survivors, and there's a skull for not being, don't alert any of the counselors, like destroy them all without them knowing that you're even there. So yeah, that very fun single player challenges. I definitely recommend them. A very, very good addition to the game. There was also the virtual cabin that they added in. It's a lot of fun. It's basically just a bunch of puzzles in the cabin to get you through it. And at the end of it, it showed everybody that we would eventually get Uber Jason, which is Jason from Jason X, and the Grendel map, which is the space style, the spaceship map. But unfortunately, it never happened. I'm not going to get into the lawsuit because I don't really know a whole lot about it. I've heard things. The number one thing that I do know is because of the lawsuit, they can't add anything more to the game. No movies can be made. It sucks being a Friday the 13th fan for anybody that this is happening. So, but it's between Victor Miller and Horror Inc., and it sucks. But a lot of fans have come out at Gun Media about this, and they're mad at them that they can't add I see it every day on Twitter. Every day. You know, when you guys add in Jason X, we want Jason X. It's not up to them. It's not up to them. Honestly, I don't think we'll ever see it, just because you know, the lawsuit, it's out of their hands. So if you're going on there and you're roasting these people because of this, and it's not their fault, shame on you. Look at the content you already have in this game. You know, we didn't have a game like this prior. The only Friday the 13th game we had before this was the NES game. And you don't even want to compare these two. Like, this game is great the way that it is. Yes, we have bugs still to this day with the game. But I don't... Honestly, they didn't have to add anything else. You know, we could still have the Jasons without Part 5, without Part 4. You know, we didn't have to get the NES skin for Jason. We didn't have to get the extra counselors or the added maps that they gave us. The Jarvis house or the... what's that called? I really don't like this one. What is the name of that map? I'll think of it. I'll come back to it. Pinehurst, that's it. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You could have just had Camp Crystal Lake, Packanack, and Higgins Haven, but they added the Jarvis house, they added Pinehurst, and they added the smaller maps, you know, of Crystal Lake, Higgins Haven, Packanack. They didn't have to add any of that. You could have had the game at bare minimum, but we got more. Okay, we got the single player challenges. They added offline mode where you can play as Jason against counselor bots. You didn't have to have any of that. And the virtual cabin, there's a lot now in this game that was when this game released. So to throw a fit you didn't get the Grendel map or Jason X, yes, it sucks, but come on. Like, lay off. It's not their fault. I'm sure they would love to add it. But unfortunately, it's not, you know, I don't see it happening. But just a great game in general. Before I finish up, though, I want to talk about the weapons and the perks. And we'll start with the weapons. Different weapons for to attack, you know, Jason with. You got, you can get a machete, an axe, a wrench, shotgun, baseball bat, fire poker, wooden plank, frying pan, tree branch, cooking pot, metal pipe, and a flare gun. Honestly, you can kill Jason in this game. Takes a little bit of teamwork to do. You need a woman counselor to go to Jason's shack, get his mother's sweater, and you need Tommy Jarvis. So someone has to die. Someone's got to be sacrificed to come back as Tommy Jarvis. And you have to hit Jason so many times that it knocks his mask off. You can't kill him while his mask is on. Once his mask is off, the woman who has the sweater stuns Jason with the sweater, like confuses him, tries to talk like his mother. Then he has to be hit with an item. It could be anything, just to drop him to his knees. And then Tommy either has to have the axe or the machete to kill Jason. So yeah, it takes a lot, but if you get, you know, people who know what they're doing, it can be done. Jason's weapons, we got the machete, the axe, the trident, pig splitter, double bit axe, spear, fire axe, pickaxe, shears, and that was all we got. There was going to be, I believe, a different machete for the Jason X character, but like I said, we didn't get that. So I'm guessing the thing I was telling you guys about earlier, the spear, is was the part 6, what part 6 Jason had, the pole I was talking about. If you get rid of that spear and give him something else, you could fix part 6 really quick. When I mentioned the trident, that is actually Savini Jason's weapon. So if you do have Savini Jason, you won't be able to swap that weapon out. But yeah, those are the weapons that you can use in the game for counselors and for Jason. Alright, the last thing I'm going to talk about before I wrap up the show are the perks for the counselors. You'll gain customization points, and they allow you to, I guess, not really buy perks, but spend for perks, or roll for perks, is what they call it. So, there's 6 different perk ranks. There's poor being 1, common being 2, uncommon 3, rare 4, epic is 5, and legendary is 6. Now, I don't usually keep anything under rare, so if uncommon, common, or poor, I sell them back and spend for more. And you can do that. You can sell your perks back and get some customization points for them. Now, mine, I have done a lot of them, so I only either have epic or legendary. If I have a rare, I don't know, a rare thick-skinned one where it takes, Jason just can't swing on you in 2 hits and kill you, or however that is. It takes him a while if he's a slasher Jason. He's not using his kills, he's just swinging whatever weapon he has. If I have a rare one and I get an epic one, I'll delete the rare one and keep the epic one. You know what I mean? Because I think you only get, I want to say, I don't know how many slots there are. I don't know if it's 30. I'm thinking it's 30. I could be wrong on that. But I think you get 30 different slots for perks. And basically what it is, there's so many different perks you can get. There's perks that can help your stamina and help your speed, help your repair speed, all this kind of stuff. And whatever counselor you like to use, you want to use those perks. You get to add 3 perks to a counselor, and you can add those perks to maybe boost them up in the categories they lack in. So, but I mean, there's, different perks, like my dad's a cop, which allows you to, if you're the one who puts the call into the police, it doesn't take a full 5 minutes for them to come, depending upon which one you have, whether it's the uncommon one or rare one. I've never come across the epic one or legendary. I don't even know if they're out there, but I mean, they got to be out there. But yeah, so just different perks to work with, and strategize your counselor to get them to be a powerhouse. So, but anyways, that's really gonna do it for this episode of Friday the 13th, the game. And I can't recommend this game enough. Like I said, there's no excuse. If you're hearing this right now, no excuse. Pick it up. It's free on Xbox Live with Gold, and 50% off on PlayStation 4. Come on. I mean, you're not going to want to pass that up. This game is a blast. Like I said, you still have the occasional bugs here and there. We've been on them now for a while to fix the environmental kills that Jason can do. Whether that's putting your head in a pot on the stove or putting your head in the toilet bowl. But yeah, some of them will still work. I think if you try to throw someone out the window, it glitches out at the moment. So hopefully they get that fixed soon. But guys, I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Primetime Podcast. This whole month is going to be nothing but horror game topics. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Friday the 13th, the game. Be sure to subscribe to Primetime 21st Gaming on YouTube. Subscribe to the Primetime Podcast on whatever platform you want. I listed them all at the start. Check me out on there. Like I said, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify. There's just many different options. No excuse. Follow the Primetime Podcast for video game topics, different games, different news for, video games, whatever it may be. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and you'll hear from me in the next podcast.